Very good morning to everyone. A warm welcome to today's session. Before we start with today's session, I just want to have a brief discussion like what we have covered up. Why? Because we are continuing where we have stopped. That is, we were in container section and we have covered up part one. So there are another two parts which has to be completed in the container section. So before we start with the part two, we'll have just a small recap of what all we saw in the previous session. So in the previous session, we started with the concept of UI widgets. We saw some of the concepts like progress bar, seek bar. Then we went into another unit where we had a rating bar, then web view control. Like this, we saw about the remaining UI widgets which were we had to cover up, and we saw and we completed all the UI widgets which are available in the XML design part. I think so you all remember that when we go into the XML design part, on the left hand side we have something called as palette. So I'll just show to you that. So when you go into this design part, you know that you have this palette. Okay, in the palette you have widgets. So in the widgets, we covered up the controls like switch, toggle button, image view, and progress bar in one of the units. And in the next unit, we covered up the UI widgets like seek bar, rating bar, spinner, and web view. So these are all the concepts that we saw in the UI widgets in two units. When we went into the next unit, that is the containers. Uh, First, we started with a container called list view. You saw that when you have a list of items to be like displayed, by default it will be giving you a scroll feature when you are having n number of items. So to implement the list view, that is the default list view, we use a concept, that is we use the bridge between the list view control and as well as your data items, which is called as adapter. So that adapter is what we use is of a string class. It was accepting only the string values, and we were passing only a list of strings. So it was depending upon the length, that is the size of the list, it was creating so many number of rows, and each row had its own value. That is, whatever the list of string was having, each value as given was considered as a list item and it was considered as a single row. So when it goes out of the screen, by default it was giving you a scroll feature, and we also saw how to write a listener. That is, when a user clicks on a particular item, which item he has clicked or what is the value that you will be getting when you click. So we saw with list item listener. So that was one. And the next in the container we saw is a scroll view control, which is of vertical scrolling. So when you create a screen, and if the screen is like a bigger screen and if it goes out of the screen, so there should be some scroll where user can view the remaining items which is not visible to him at the single shot. So for that we saw about a scroll view, and inside the scroll view it should always have a single child, and inside that single child you can write a number of views or a number of layouts, so that the scroll will be given to the complete child of it and the scroll will work. So that was about the scroll view. Then we saw about another container called as horizontal scroll view. So scroll view feature which had only the vertical scrolling. So when you want something like horizontal scrolling, so Android provides you another container called as horizontal scroll view, which gives you the scrolling from the horizontal direction. So this is what we completed in the previous session, and we were finished with the container part one. So the next one, what we are going to see is containers part two. So we have some more containers. That is, in the list view, we actually saw only about the default list view, that is only of strings. So in today's session, we are going to see about a concept called list view customized. That is, I told you in the previous session itself, the list view what we used in the previous session was only a string. But suppose you want a list view item, that is each row should be like customized, like you want an image, then you want a subheading 1, then you want a subheading 2, like this you want to customize. Like for example, you would have seen in many of your devices, in many of the apps, the list view will be like different. It will be like each and every application will be like they would have designed each row of the list item in a different manner. So that is achieved or that has been implemented by customizing the list view. So we are going to see how to customize a list view and to display the items as user is expecting. So that is the first one what we are going to see. The next one is grid view. See, list view is a linear manner where you have the items displayed one after the other in each row. Grid view is like a table that is n cross n matrix. It will have cells, so you can define what are the number of columns and number of rows that you want, and each item will be displayed in a grid manner. So for example, you would have seen your gallery application. Each images is being displayed in a m cross n matrix. So that is all achieved through the grid view control. So this will be same like list view. There won't be any change. Only the listing of items is different, but the way of using the code or the way of structuring everything is same like the list view. So we'll go through the list view container, that is the customization of the list view container. So when you want to display a series of items, okay, in a customization representation. So for example, you can see on the right hand side, this is customized, like you have an image and you have an heading. But for this, you have to customize it. If you use your default array adapter, what we used in the previous class to create an adapter for the bridging, if you use the array adapter to this kind of an view, to achieve this, you have to override. That is, you have to override the adapter control, and you have to override some functions which is being provided by the adapter, and then only you will be like able to achieve the customization, like whatever way you want to represent the items, those items can be represented using the customization. So for the customization, there is a class, okay? It is not an array adapter, it is a base adapter. For array adapter is also a child class of the base adapter. Maybe when you write your code, you can click on the array adapter and you can check it will be extending the base adapter. Base adapter is a super class. It is a parent class which gives all the functionalities. So array adapter is also being derived from the base adapter. So you are directly going to override the base adapter. So this base adapter, we are going to override it. That is, we are going to extend. Once you extend, this particular base adapter provides you different functions where you have to override it so that the customization will be achieved. So that I'll let you know. So the base adapter can be extended to create a custom adapter. As I told you, we'll be like extending it. So that will create a custom adapter for building a custom list item. So the complex layout for listeners can be bound with base adapter. With base adapter, you can practically build any layout which you want in Android list view. As I told you, each and every user, as per the app, you would have seen each and every app list item would be different or some would be same. The difference is what kind of a layout you want. That is, it is not like you should be like using this is the concept or this is the design you have to use. It is dependent upon the user's design. Whatever design you want to use or display for a list item, that can be achieved using this base adapter concept. So you can see here, this is an example. See, sample adapter is the class name that we are going to give for the custom adapter. And you can see extends base adapter. So once you extend it, these are the functions that will be given to you. That is get count, which will return what is the list item count. Get item will return the item of that particular position. Get item IDs, each item will be having an ID, so that ID will be returned. Then get view. This is the main function where we are going to write the customization. That is, whatever the list item design it has to be displayed will be displayed in this particular function. So this is what the function is about. So I'll just demonstrate you and I'll let you know the way how we can use it. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all these things. Okay, these are all were used in the previous session. So I'll use the linear layout again. Okay, I have used this. Now what I'm going to do is, okay, first I'll create a list view. You know that to create a list view in the XML file, we'll be like using the list view control. Okay, Then once we have created, we will give an ID to it. We have created a list view. So when you go into the design, you will be like able to see the list view control which is being added into the code. So now the next one is what you have to do. You have to declare the list view control, like what we did for the default list view. We are going to do the same thing, list view. Now I'll declare it using my find view by ID. That is, I'll get the reference. Okay, r.id.list view. So now I have my list view reference also. So now what I'm going to do is, I want a set of images and a set of names. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to use 5 names. Okay, so for that I'll create images. I'll use the same images whatever is available in my application. So I think I have that IC launcher. So I'll use the same IC launcher. So each IC launcher, what I'll do is I'll create an integer array, which is called images. Okay. So I'll get it from r.mipmap.iclauncher. So I'll copy this 5 times because I'm going to use 5 items. So I'll just copy paste it 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now I am done with my image. Next is, next to the image, I want to display the strings. So for that, I'll create a string array, okay, which is called names. Okay, I'll give the name saying let us see. Okay, this is the first one. Then I'll give C++. This is the second one, and Java. This is third. Fourth one is JSP, and fifth one is Android. Okay, these are all the image and the string that I have to customize and I have to display it. So I have ready with me. Now, once you are done with this, now I have to create an adapter. So the adapter, the default adapter is nothing but the array adapter. I'll just show to you that. Okay, array adapter, and we can pass only the string object. So if you go into the array adapter, you can see here extends later. So the same way we are going to customize it. See, this will always take string, but what I'm passing is, I am passing the array of images and array of names. So this is not possible to use. For this, what you have to do is, you have to create an adapter. That is, you have to create a class. Okay, that is new Java class. Okay, I'll give the name as custom adapter. Okay, I'll give the name as custom adapter, and I'll give extends base adapter. So once I give this, you can see here it will give an error. Okay, it will give an error. It will tell it has to implement some method. That is, the base adapter is an abstract class where we have to implement some methods. So once you click on this, all the methods that we have to override, okay, what we have to override, that will be given to you. You can see it is being given all. Now, from your main activity to this activity, to pass the data, that is to pass every data, you have to create a constructor. This is compulsorily, it will be available, you have to create. So I'm going to create custom adapter. First thing is, I'll pass the context. That is, I need the context. So I'll create it as main activity. Okay, this is my context. Next one is integer array. Okay, integer array, which is images that I have to pass. Then string array, which is called names. So this is my constructor I have created. So this is what I'm going to use it in my activity file. Now what I'm going to do is, I'll assign the values. So whatever values are there, I'll assign. First, I'll create the context object where I'll use the context object to use my activity. Context equals main activity. Next one is I'll create an integer array. Okay, integer array of images. I'll use the same name so that there won't be any confusion. I'll tell this dot images equals images. Similarly, string array, which is called name, and I'll declare it as this dot names equals names. So now I am done with this. So I have created a constructor. Now what I'm going to do is, in the main activity file, I'll create, instead of array adapter, now I'm going to use custom adapter, and I'll give adapter equals new adapter. Okay, new custom adapter. First thing is I was passing the context, so I'll tell main activity dot this. Second is I was passing the images, so I'll give the images object. Then I'll give the names object. Now my adapter will be created. Now I'll add my adapter saying set adapter adapter. That's it. The activity code is same. Only thing is, instead of array adapter, you will be using your custom adapter, and whatever the custom adapter constructor you have created, so those parameters you will be like passing it. Once you have passed this, next you can see here what is the get count. It will return the list item size. So what you can do is, either you can use images.length or names.length, which will return what is the number of items that will be displayed. Then item ID, okay, item ID, you can return the same object whatever it is having here. So this will return what is the position of the current item, so that will be written. Then get item, you can pass the same position. So now we have written, or we have overridden the three methods. The final one is the get view. This is what the most important one, where whatever customization that you want to do, that customization will be achieved here. For this, we have to create a custom view. That is, as I told you that you want to display the items like image and next to the image. So each row has to be designed. So that design can be created by yourself. That is, you can go here. See, I'll create in the layout, I'll create a layout resource file, which we'll call as custom item list. Okay. Now I am going to create, okay, I am going to create a image view and a text view, which will be displayed one next to the other. So this is vertical, so one next to the other is horizontally. So we'll give horizontal. Now I'll create an image view. Okay, I'll give it as 50 dp. I'll hard code it and 50 dp, and I'll give an ID saying image view. Okay, and next is I'll create a text view which is of wrap content and wrap content, and I'll give an ID to it, and I'll specify a text size to it, saying 25 sp. So now if you see the design, you won't be able to see anything because you are not given anything. For reference, that is for confirmation, we'll put a dummy image. Okay, I'll put a dummy image, src. Okay, I'll use @mipmap /IC launcher. So now if you see, the image will be displayed to you. Next to that, I'm going to give a small text saying testing. Okay. So if you see now, testing is also available. I'll just center align this. Okay, I'll give the center aligned, so you can see this should be layout gravity. Now if you see design, okay, this is center aligned. The same thing will do it for image also. Okay, it will be aligned now. Okay, this is aligned. So this is how each row will be displayed. That is, this is how each row will be displayed. You will see that. So now we have created the image view and we have created the text view. Now we'll go to our custom adapter. Okay, we'll go to our custom adapter. The first thing is, you know that you have an XML file with you, so you want to use that XML file in your custom adapter. For that, we have a class called layout inflator. What this means is, whenever you want to use a layout in an existing layout, that is already a layout file is there. So inside that you are going to inflate, that is you are going to use another layout file. So when you are doing that, you should use this particular class, which will be like combining a layout file inside another layout file. So we'll create the inflator using context dot get system services is the function name, and you have to tell context dot layout inflator service. So this is how you have to create the object of layout inflator. So we have the object now. The first thing what you have to do is you have to create the view. So whatever view we are going to do, we have to create the view. So we'll create a new object called view equals inflator. That is whatever object we have created dot. Okay, you are telling to inflate. That is you want to inflate. What you want to inflate? You want to inflate the layout which we have created called custom list item, and the second one is view group. There we are not going to use anything, so we have created. The view is ready. Now what I am going to do is I'll declare the objects whatever we have created. Okay, I'll create it as image view equals view dot find view by id r dot id dot. We gave it as image view. Okay, that is there. Then I'll typecast it. Okay, now the image view is ready. Similarly, you want to change the text view also, so we'll give it as text view. So I'll give it as view dot find view by id r dot id dot text view. So now I have both the values. Now I will set the list items to the particular each row. So this get view will be executed for each row until the length is null. That is, suppose if the length is 5, this will be executing 5 times, and each time the row will be getting added and the image and text will be added. I'll just show to you that. So to do that, image view dot set image resource. Okay, set image resource. Images is my array, and I'll give the position. You can see here position. It will tell what is the position, current position, so we can give the position. Next is similarly text view dot set text, where you can tell names of position, and finally you have to return the view object. This is all you have to do for the customization. Now when I run my application, okay, when I run my application, this customization will display me the items like whatever we have displayed. IC launcher, let us see. IC launcher C. That like that, it will display me the items the way I want to customize it. So I'll just show to you that. So let the application run. Okay, it has run. I'll just show to you that. So you can see now it is showing letters C, C++, Java, JSP, Android with an image. So this is how you can customize it. It depends upon your XML file. See, this XML file, the way you arrange it. For example, if you put the images on the right hand side, okay, what happens is the image will come on the right now. So when you go into the design part, you can see the right will come right. So like this, you can customize it on your own way. You can create each row what you want. So like this, you can customize it completely and you can display it. So that is what it is about. So it is not only always it should be image and text. You can do whatever you want. So it is dependent on you. Each row, the way how you want it, you can create an XML file and you can use it here, and you can change the row and you can display it. So this is how a customization works, by overriding the base adapter and writing the code. This is the main function. That is the getView method is the main function where you inflate your XML file and you will be setting your values. So whatever values you set, that particular row, number of rows, that particular row will be set that particular value, and it will be displaying to you as a list view control. So this is what about the customization of the list view control. Before I start with the grid view, if any doubts with the list view customization, you can ask me now. Can I know, is there any question, or shall I proceed with the next container? Okay, so see, the next one is about the grid view container. As I told you, grid view container is used mainly for the purpose of displaying the items in M cross N matrix. So a grid view shows it will show the items in two-dimensional scrolling grid. That is, as the number of items goes out of the screen, it will be by default it will be giving you a feature of scrolling. So the grid items are not necessarily predetermined, but they are automatically inserted into the layout using list adapter. Like the way what you saw in the list view, the same way through the adapter, it has been automatically inserted depending upon the item that you are passing to the adapter, and it is displayed. So an adapter actually bridges between the UI components and data source that fill data into UI components. So the main concept is adapter again, which will act as a bridge between the grid view and as well as the list item, and it will be bridging between the UI components and the data source that you have, which has to be displayed. So the list view and the grid view are subclasses of adapter view. So the same way as I told you, there is no any difference. Only thing is the view, that is the display of the items, is different in the list view and grid view. Custom grid view can be populated in the same way like custom list view. So I'll just show you the grid view control. First is what we'll do is I'll display you the default list view first. Okay. For that we'll go here. Instead of this one, I'll name it as grid view. Okay, I'll give this as grid view. Okay. Now, if you see the design, it will be having only one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell Android : number of columns. Okay, number of columns equals 3. You can see now the number of columns has been changed. Now what I'm going to do is I'll go here. I have string of an array. Okay, let it be. Instead of this custom adapter, Okay, I'll comment it. This is grid view. Okay, I'll name it as grid view. I'll create an array adapter first. That is string object. Array adapter of string adapter equals new adapter. Okay, new adapter of first one is this comma. I'll use the already available layout r dot layout dot r dot layout dot simple list item one itself. Then I'll pass names. Okay, my adapter is ready, and I'll give the grid view. This is the default one. That is when you are displaying only the strings. This is the default one. I'll show to you that when the application is run, this is the first item. Next to that C++ will be there. Next to that Java will be there. This is the first row items. Below that it will create JSP and Android. So it will be creating you a two-dimensional array and it will display you the items. So let the application run. So if you see it, you can see here, this is how it will be displayed. This is the default grid view where it will where you are using only the array adapter and you are displaying it. For the custom adapter, that is if you want to create a custom grid view, there is no any change like what we have done it for the previous list view control. You can use the same. See, you can use the same. Only thing is the control name gets changes. Okay. And if you run the application, you will see the difference. Same concept, only thing is the control name is changed, but the custom adapter, the way creation, extending the base adapter and many other things are all same. You can see here, it is taking everything is being displayed one after the other. You can see that the image somewhere is getting cut because it is fitting the width. So if you want to fit it correctly, see, for example, I'll use this as vertical. Since we used it as horizontal, it was coming one next to the other. Now what will happen is, name will come on top, image will come on bottom. So it has been vertically arranged. See this? This is how a grid view control can be used, or you can use a customization of the grid view and you can display it. So this is how a grid view control and the list view control containers can be used in the applications for displaying a list of items, where you can have by default a scroll feature also. So this is what about the grid view control. So that is what about we have seen about customization of the list view, and we saw about the default grid view and as well as the default customization of, that is the customization of the grid view control. So this is what about the grid view. So the next one is, we are the last part, that is the containers last part. We have some other containers which we have to see. That is, we have a container called search view. So you would have seen a search feature where as soon as you type something and if you click on it, you'll make a service call or you'll make an API call to fetch the result and to display it to the user. So there is a view where you can use it for the search control, and once the user types on it, you can make a query on it and you can get it. So this can be achieved. So that is what the search view control is about. The next one is video view. Video view is if you have a video, okay, if you have a video, you want to play it. That is, you should have a view where you can play the video media files. So for that, we have a control called as video view where you can play the videos. Then the third one is the tab host. Tab host is nothing but you would have seen in a lot of applications there will be a tab in a single screen. They would have divided the screens by using tab control, and once you click on that particular tab, that particular page will be opened. For example, you would have seen WhatsApp. In the WhatsApp, you have three sections. One is chat section, one is contact section, and one is call section. So when you click on each tab, that particular page is getting open. So this is achieved by using the tab host control. So that is what the another container that what we are going to see about. So first we'll see the search view. So the search view container, that is the search view container provides you an user interface for the user to enter a search query and submit a request to a search provider. So that is how the search view control is being used. You can see here in the screenshot on the right hand side, this is how the search view control comes, where you have an X cross button where when you click on it, the cross button will be disappear. That is, it will remove the words that you have been used. And once you type on it and when you click on search, that is at the bottom you can see the keyboard is giving you a search icon. When you click on search, you can write a code where you can make an API call to your backend. You can query your database and you can display the result to the user. So just what I'm going to show to you is how to use the search view and how to get what is the value that user has been typed. So that is what we are going to see in this particular control. So I'll just show to you. So first we'll go to I'll go to my content. I'll remove this. Instead of that, I'll use search view. I'll give it as wrap content. Okay. I'll give an ID to it. Okay. So now if you see the design, you can see a search has been displayed. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let me remove all this. It has displayed only the search icon, but it is not showing that X mark, that is where you can remove the text. So that is not displayed, but only it is displaying you a search icon. I'll just show to you in the after it has been run. You can see what happens. Okay, see, as soon as it is being run, you can see that it is only giving search. Now what happens is only when you click on this, see I'll click on it, as soon as you click on it, you can see this, it is getting opened, and as soon as I type something, you can see that it is being getting typed, and when I click on this cross button, you can see the text has been disappeared, and again when I click on the cross button, you can see it is being collapsed. So this is one of the features. That is by default when you put only the search view and you are doing it, it will give you this kind of a feature where it will be collapsed, and when you click on it, it will be expanded, and again when you click on the cross button, it will be collapsed. So this is one of the features. Suppose by default you want to be like expanded, that is you want the search view to be expanded and it to be shown. So at that time what you can do is there is a option called iconified by default. You can see this iconified by default. You have to tell true. Now if you see the design, okay, now if you see the design, you can see now by default it has been expanded. I'll run it and I'll show you. So it should be false. Set iconified by default should be false. So as soon as you make it as false, you can see that it has been by default expanded. I'll show to you once it has been run. See here, by default it has been there. Now when you click on it and when you type on it, then you can see the cross button will come. See what happens is in this, when you are giving set iconified by default as false. This will be expanded, but into mark will be not there because nothing is being typed. So showing an into mark is nothing. So as soon as the user types, you can see the into mark will be like coming. That is a close icon, remove icon will be coming. And when you click on the remove icon, the text will be removed and everything happens. So this is how you can expand it by default and you can show it. So now we have expanded it. Now whatever user types and when the user clicks on search icon in the keyboard, you have to read what is the user have been typed. So that we'll see how we'll do. You have to create a search view object first. Search view, and I'll typecast it to search view. Find view by ID or dot ID dot search view. So I'm done with it. So now there is something called set on query text change listener. I'll show you to do that. You can see the search view dot set on query text listener, that is set on query text listener. So this particular listener will take on query text listener. You can see on query text submit and on query text change. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use submit, okay, toast dot make toast. I'll give main activity dot this, and you can see the query. This is the object which will be having what user has typed. I'll use the query comma toast dot length dot dot. So this what will happen is as soon as user types something and when he clicks on the submit button, then the text will be displayed as a toast. I'll show to you. This method is on query text change. As soon as you type one text in it, it will be keep on querying. That is, it will be keep on executing. So you can use this whenever you are like expecting to get the value. Whenever user types a single character, or he removes a single character, it means there is a change in the text. So that at that time this particular method will be invoked. This is only when the user clicks on submit button. I'll show to you that. See now I'll type hello, okay, and I'll click on this icon, that is the search icon, submit. You can see hello is displayed as a toast. So whatever I type here, okay, okay, and I click on the submit button, that will be displayed to me as a toast. So this method will be executed whenever you click on a submit button. But this method, what happens is, I'll show to you that also. Whenever there is a change in the text, the toast will be displayed. Let it run. Okay, see now what I'll do is, I'll just type A. You can see at the bottom, a toast will be displayed. And as I type in, every time whenever there is a change in the text, it will be keep on displaying. Okay, even see when I click on the into mark here, whatever single character I'll remove, the toast will be displayed. So this will be displayed whenever there is a change in the text. Suppose if I click on this, you can see the empty will be displayed. So like this, whenever there is a change in the text, that particular method, that is on query text change method, will be executed, and whatever code you write inside this, it will be executed. So this is how a search view control can be used, and you can write a listener to it, and you can pass, that is, you can get the value what user has typed, and you can pass it to your API call to interact with your database, and you can get it. So that I'm not going to show you, but until how to get the data I have showed you. Remaining part of interacting with REST API and getting the data and displaying, it's all left to you the way how you can use it. So this is what about the search view control. So when we saw about the XML syntax, this is the XML syntax. Then, so we have done with the search view. The next one is the video view container. as I told you, if you want to display or if you want to play a video in an Android application, you can use the video view. So video view is a visual component. When added to the layout of an activity, it provides a surface with all the controls. It will provide you a surface where you can play a video, and this video can be played in Android with the help of a class called media controller and the video view class. Video view classes, it will give you a video to play the video. Media controller class will give you all the controls like pause, play, next, previous, and to fast forward. So all these controls are given to you by the class called as media controller, and video view class will give you a surface where you can play a video. So that is what you can. It is combination of media controller and the video view class. So media controller is a view that contains the media controls like play, pause, previous, next, fast forward, rewind, etc. As I told you. So you can see in the screenshot, the video play is the video view class control provider, and the bottom part, that is wherever the controls are available, is being provided by the media controller class. So you can see this is how we'll be like declaring the video view syntax. I'll just show to you that in the code. First, we'll create a video view. I'll give it as 300 JP and I'll give an ID to it. So now if you see the design, it will be a gray. See, this is 300 into 300, so this is gray. So what I'll do is I'll just center align it. Android colon gravity center. Okay, this will be center aligned. So this is how it will be like available. This is center aligned now. So we have the video view with us. Now we have to add a video. That is, either you can get it from the net and you can display it, or if you add a video with you, you can play that video. So I'll just copy a video which I have in my system. I think somewhere I have it. I just check it. Okay, I have it somewhere here. So I have the video. I'll just copy this. I'll come into my project. So whenever you want to put a video, you have to create a folder in the resource called raw. Okay, Android resource directory. You have to give the directory name as raw, and you have to select the resource type as raw. You can see this raw. Then you have to click on OK. Now it will create your raw folder. Paste it inside this. I'll use the same name. Okay, now I have the video. Now we have to write the code to put the video view, that is the video whatever we have, into the video view. First I'll create the video view object. So I'll use video view equals video view. I have created my object. I am ready with my object. So to tell where this particular raw, that is the video file, is available, the file should be of a URI path, that is uniform resource indicator. So you have to create a URI, that is I'll create a URI path which will create an URI, that is we have to pass a string. We'll tell where it is available. I'll tell it is inside Android dot resource. Okay, it is available inside Android dot resource. Then we have to tell what is the package name. So you can see in the top, the package name is com.example.demo September 2016 is the package name. Okay, this is the path we have to specify. You are telling it is available inside Android.resource and it is available inside the package com example.demo September 2016. Then we'll give where it is r.raw folder.a. You can see this A. So this is how the URI path will be generated. Now we have the URI path and we have the video view ref object also. Next is what we have to do is we have to create a media controller class which will provide you the controllers. Okay. So to create that, controller equals new media controller video, sorry, main activity dot this. Okay, this will create the media controller. See this media controller class comes in two packages. One is you can see a media.session.media controller. So because of this only you can see this, it is giving me an error. Actually we have to use Android.widget. Okay, Android.widget.media controller. Now if you see the error is gone. So you should be more specific while using the package, which class package you are using it. So now the controller is also available with us. Now we'll tell video view dot set media controller and we'll tell controller, we'll pass the controller object. So you are telling to the video view, you are adding a media controller object. Then we'll add video URI, which is the URI path. Okay. Finally, we'll tell video dot request. So when the application is opening, it has to request, it has to focus by default. So we are telling request focus and we are telling video view dot start. Only this is what we have to do to create a video in the application. So you have to create the URI path, then you have to put you have to create a media controller object and you have to set the media controller object to the video view. Then you have to set the URI path to the video view. Then you have to tell request focus and you have to tell start. So this much will make or it will play a video. The video is not played. Okay. See, you can see this package name, whatever is there, and whatever package name I have given is different. I'll just show to you. You can see here DMO, SCP, TMEBER, but I have given TEMBER. So because of that only, the video didn't play. It was not able to find the place where the video was there, so it was displayed. It showed an error. I'll just show to you that. See, you can see here. It showed an error saying can't play this video. This is because of that package name failing. Now I have changed it. I will just run it again. So now you will be able to see the video is getting played. You can see that the video is getting played and you can see the controls. Okay, previous, next, pause button, everything is available. Even if I forward it, you can see it is getting forwarded. Okay. So this is what about, and again when I click on pause, you can see that the play button has been shown. So this is how you can use a video view to play a video by putting your video into the raw folder and to use it. So this is about a video view container. So the next control what we have to see is, that is the next container, what we have to see is about the tab activity, that is the tab host. So as I told you, tab host is, you can see in the screenshot, you will have two sections. One is a tab section and another one is the content section. I also gave you an example of the WhatsApp. You would have seen in the WhatsApp on the top you will have three sections, that is the tab section, which will have contacts, then message, then calls. So when you click on that particular tab, the content part will be getting changed. So this is achieved through this tab host container. So the tab host container has two children. The first section is the tab section and the second one is the container section. So the top part, you can see a tab 1, tab 2, tab 3, this is the tab section. This particular complete thing is the container section. So that is what the two children it is about. So instead of explaining it here, I'll just show to you how to create a tab section and the container section. I'll just remove these. Okay, I'll go to my content main. So first what I'm going to do is, instead of this linear layout, I'll use tab host itself. You can see this tab host. So I'm going to use a tab host itself. Inside this tab host, now I'll create two sections. As I told you, tab host will be having two sections. So I'm going to create two sections in this. I'll give match parent, and I'll give an ID to it. ID linear layout. Okay. So this will have a orientation of vertical, that is one below the other. So we are creating two sections. So it will have one below the other. The first section is tab. That is the tab widget. Whatever I have told you, the first section is tab widget. So we have a control called tab widget which will create a tab. So I'll give it as match parent and I'll give it as match parent and wrap content. So this is the tab widget. So this particular tab, whenever you are using a tab widget, we have to use an ID which has been already declared. It is already available inside @Android. So you have to use the available ID. So this is how it will recognize. The tab host control will recognize. So you have to use compulsorily the same ID. You should not use the user defined ID. So this is tab. Next one is, I told you, container. That is the content which can be created using the frame content, and this frame content also has its own ID saying tab content. You can see tabs having same name tabs and tab content. Finally, this tab host is also having an ID, so you have to use this ID also. You can see here tab host. So this is the ID that is being given for the tab host. So when you go into the design part, you can see it will be divided. See, this is the tab widget. You can see here tab widget is this one. This one is the frame layout, and the overall is nothing but the tab host. So the tab host is divided into two sections. First section is the tab widget section, and the second section is the frame layout section. So this is what the creation. Now in the activity file, the first step is, see, in this main thing is, you cannot use the app compact activity. See, you cannot use the app compact activity. You have to use tab activity. You can see this is the removed section. That is, it is being deprecated, but you can use it. So you have to use the tab activity. I'll just remove all these things. You have to use the tab activity. Once you use the tab activity, then only you will be able to access all the classes. So first I'll use tab host object. I'll create a tab host using find view by id r.id dot. It is available inside r.id dot tabos. Okay, I'll typecast it to tabos. Now I have the tabos object. Now what I'm going to do is, now I'm going to create 3 tabs. So for that, what you have to do is, there is a class called, in the tabos we have a class called tabspec. Okay, tabspec. This will, you will tell what is the number of what is the tab that you want to create in the tabos. So we have this function called new tabspec, where you can tell your tab name. This is first tab. So similarly, I'll create another 2 tabs. I'll change the names like tab 1, then tab 2, then tab 3. I'll give it as second tab, and I'll give it as third tab. Okay. Now the tab is created. The next one is, you have to set the content. Okay, for setting the content, first what you have to do is, you have to set the tab content, that is a tab indicator first, saying this is just like an indicator, just like an ID. Then you have to tell tab1 dot set content. You can now set your contents. Okay, what you can do is, either you can pass an intent, you can create your own intent and you can pass, or you can see. Now I'll create this, I'll tell 2 and I'll tell 3, this is 2, this is 2. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to create 3 different activities. Okay, I'll create 3 different activities. One is, I'll tell it as tab 1 activity. Okay, the next one is, I'll create as tab 2 activity. Okay, this is for 3 tab contents. Okay, so I'll create tab 3 activity. So now I have all the 3 activities one by one. I'll just create the extends activity. Okay, extends activity. Then I'll override by creating the onCreate method. So this much, once you are done, I'll create a text view inside it, which will display what is the, this is like dynamically I'm creating it, text view of this, and I'll give text view dot set text size as 25, and text view dot set gravity, I'll give it as gravity dot center, and text view dot set text. Okay, set text, I'll give it as this is tab 1. Okay, this is the text I will display, and I'll just set content view text view. So same thing, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to copy and paste it in another 2 tabs, and I'll tell this is the second, I'll tell it as tab 2. Okay, and the third one I'll give it as tab 3. So these activities, whatever we have created, we are going to set it as the content. Okay, see, now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to create a new intent. Okay, after intent I'll give this dot, I have the class tab activity 1 dot class. Similarly, I'll do for the second one, tab activity 2 dot class, and finally I'll do it for the third one, tab activity 3 dot class. So now you have given the tab name and as well as the content name. Finally, these things should be added to the tabos. Okay, it has to be added to the tabos. So we'll tell tabos dot add tab 1, then tab host dot add tab 2, and another one is tab host dot add tab 3. So you have to do this much. So when you create this much, this particular thing will have the tab name saying first tab, second tab, third tab, and these codes will put the content, whatever content you are there, that content will be added into it. Before that, I'll first declare my tab activities, otherwise it will break. 1, 2, okay. I'll change this to one is tab. So now I'll run my application. You will see 3 tabs created, and below that the content will be getting changed as I change the tab. So this is how the tab host control works. So you can see this as by default tab 1 is there, and you can see this is the tab 1, and when I click on tab 2, you'll see this is tab 2, and when I click on tab 3, this is tab 3. So this is how you can create tabs. You can use the tab host control to create the tab on the containers, and once you click on that particular tab, the contents of the that particular page will get changed, and you can use 3 different activities into a single activity. That is how this concept works. Like what we talked about fragments, where multiple activities can be displayed in a single activity. In a similar way, this is how you see in a single screen you are displaying 3 different activities. So that is how the tab host control plays an important role, where you can use the number of screen into a single screen. So this is what about the tab host control. So we have seen the remaining part of the containers like search view, then we saw about the video view, and finally we saw about the tab window view. Is there any question from anyone before I proceed with the next unit? Okay, the next one is about alert dialog. So you would have, if you want to display some message to the user and you want to forcefully allow the user to either allow it or disagree, or it is like he has to do some action on it, then only you'll be like allowing him to proceed further. If some kind of an, if this is the situation, you have to, there should be some view where you can give an alert to the user saying that what he has to do. So in that scenario, we have a control called as alert dialog. It is not a view, but it is a class which provides you the functionalities to create an alert dialog and to display. So we have two kinds of alert dialogs. One is the default alert dialog and one is the customized alert dialog. So a dialog is a small window. It will be like prompting for the user to ask some decision. So either it will show two buttons, that is a positive button or a negative button, or it can also show any one button also. So, but user has to take some decision on it and he has to proceed it. So this particular alert dialog, it will have three sections. First one is the title section. Second one is the message section, and the third one is the action buttons, like what I told you, the negative button and the positive button. So it will be having the action section. So this is the combination. Once it combines all these three, it is considered as an alert dialog. So to create an alert dialog, we have a class called as alert dialog, which will give you the functionalities to set the message, to set the title, and to set the action buttons. So I'll just show to you that. So first I'll demonstrate you the default alert dialog. Okay, I'll just demonstrate you the default alert dialog. For this, what we will do is we will create a button. We'll create a button inside this first. I'll create a button like match parent, wrap content, and I'll give a text saying click me for alert. Okay. I'll give an ID to it. Okay, I've given an ID to it. Now what I'll do is I'll use this with whatever we had previously. Okay, I'll just remove this. I'll do compact activity. Then I'll go to button alert btn. Okay, I've created the button. Now I'll write the listener to it, saying dot set on click listener or new on click listener. Now what I'm going to do is once the user clicks on this particular button, I will call a user defined function. Okay, show alert dialog. So this is a user defined function. So I'll create this user defined function saying public void show alert dialog. Okay. So this is a user defined function. Now we'll create the default alert dialog. So we have a class called as alert dialog, which has another class called builder. So this will build the alert dialog. So we have to create this builder object. Okay, we have created this. So now this builder will give you all the functions, like for example builder dot set title. You can see the set title. You can tell what is the title you want to display. I'll display it as alert dialog example. Next, you can give the message also, whatever message you want to. I am going to give a message saying, are you sure you want to exit? Okay, this is some message that I'm going to display here. So this is how we can set a message. Then now I want two buttons. One is OK and one is cancel. So that what I can do is builder dot set negative button. Negative button is like you will be like giving cancel, no, disagree, something like that. So you can use that. So I'll sorry. See, you have this set negative button. You can tell what is the text. I'll give no and give the on click listening. So once you click on no, what it should do? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the dialog. That is, I'll tell dialog.cancel. Okay. Now another thing is positive button. That is, you agree. So that we have positive button. I'll tell yes and I'll give the listener to it. Now what I'll do is I'll close the activity. That is, I'll close the application, that particular screen. I'll close that particular screen. For that, you should use this finish method. Whenever you want to close a activity, this is the method that you have to use. If you tell only finish, it will close. It will close that particular activity. And once you have created this much, next is finally we are creating the alert dialog. Okay. Builder dot create and we'll tell alert dialog dot show. This is how a default, that is the default alert dialog can be displayed. So I'll just run that. So now I'll just open. See, you can see this click me for alert. So what I'll do is I'll click on it. You can see the alert dialog. The title what we gave is alert dialog example. It has come. Then we gave a message saying, are you sure you want to exit? And the negative button and the positive button. So this is the alert dialog display. So when I click on no, okay, when I click on no, you can see only the alert dialog is closed. Okay. When I click on S, okay, what I'll do is I'll click on S. You can see the activity is closed. So this is how you can use it. So now that is done. Another one important thing is you have like this. Suppose if user clicks somewhere outside this black area, okay, I'll click on this black area. You can see the alert dialog is closed. But there will be some scenarios where you have to restrict the user. Even if he clicks on back button, the dialog will get closed. But there will be some scenarios where you will not allow the user to close the dialog until he clicks on the negative button or the positive button. For that, to restrict the user to take any decision, there is something called builder.set cancelable. You can see this set cancelable. By default, it will be true. You should make it as false. If you do this much, now what happens is whenever user clicks on back button or outside the dialog area, that is the blackish area, the dialog will not close. User has to either click on the negative button or the positive button. So this is how you can restrict the user. So now I'll go to this click me alert. Now what I'll do is I'll click somewhere outside here. You can see I'm clicking on it, but it is not happening. I click on back button. You can see it is not happening. So only when you click on the negative button or the positive button, then only the alert dialog will be closed. So this is the way how you can create the default alert dialog. So this is what about the default alert dialog creation. So the next one is custom. That is, as I told you, the default alert dialog we have seen. Next one is creating the custom alert dialog. So custom alert dialog is, you saw in the default alert dialog, by default it showed you a white background and it showed you yes or no button, which is like a default one. Now suppose if you want a customize, that is you want to give some background color, you want some image to be displayed, or you want your kind of a customized layout to be like displayed. So then you can customize an alert dialog by that. So we have to do 3 steps. First is create a custom dialog layout. That is, you have to create an XML file which will have the customized layout. Then attach this layout to the dialog. You have to attach, like what we use the layout infolator for attaching it. The similar way we'll be like using the layout infolator to attach it. Then we'll display the dialog. So these 3 things has to be done. So I'll just show to you how to create the custom alert dialog. So first we'll create a custom alert dialog layout. So I'll go to the layout file. I'll create custom alert. Okay, custom alert. Oh, sorry, capitals should not be used in the file names. So dialog. I have created it. Now what I'm going to do inside this is I'm going to create a text view and two buttons. Okay, I'll create this background, Android colon background. I'll give it as black. Okay, if you see the design, it will be black. Okay, now I'll create a text view. Okay, I'll create a text view which is of match parent, wrap content, and I'll give an ID saying what I'll give text view. Okay, I'll give text view and I'll give a text size of 25 SP. That's it, and I'll give the text color. By default, it will be black, so I'll give it as white. Okay, I've given this. Now I'll create another linear layout inside this. Okay, I'll create linear layout. I'll give it as match parent and wrap content. Inside this, I'll create two buttons. Button, wrap content, wrap content. I'll give the text no. I'll create it as no, and another button. So I'll give an ID. I'll tell cancel, and I'll copy this. I'll paste. I'll give this as cancel BTN. Then accept BTN, and I'll give this as yes. If you see, you can see yes and no button is there. What I'll do is I'll give the gravity as center. No, gravity. Gravity as center. Okay, center align. So now we have created the custom design for us. Now we'll go to this. I have created the same thing. No? I'll just make the small changes, like what all change we have to do. So I'll just remove all these things. Okay. First, you have to create the alert dialog builder. So we have created. Next is we have to use the view. Okay. I'll give it as dialog layout. I'll give it as dialog layout, and I'll use the layout inflator like what we have used it. So I'll use layout inflator dot from. Okay, we'll tell from where it has come. So I'll give get application context dot inflate. I'll tell the inflate layout name. A layout dot custom alert dialog. Okay, custom alert dialog. So this will have the view that it has to get created. So now once we have created this, now we have to set the view. So dot set view. So we have builder dot set view. Okay, then you will tell dialog layout to be like set. Now the builder, that is the alert dialog builder, will be having the view being set. Now we'll set the values to the text view. So I'll give the text view and find view by ID or dot ID dot text view. So this one, it cannot be only view find view by ID. It should be dialog layout dot find view by ID, because that is the view. Then we'll set the text saying text view dot set text, and we'll tell the same, like for example, or you want to exit. Okay, we have set the text. Next is will create a button object saying no BTN, then we'll typecast it to button saying dialog layout of user.id or.id dot cancel BTN. Okay. Next is again button. I'll give it as sbtn equals dialog layout dot find user ID or.id dot accept button. Okay. And I'll typecast this. So now I have two buttons being declared. Now we'll create the alert dialog. That is, whatever dialog has to be created, we'll create the alert dialog saying alert dialog equals builder dot create. So this will create the builder. Okay. Now finally we'll write the listener for that. No btn dot set on click listener of new on click listener. What this particular no will do? No should close the dialog. So I'll tell alert dialog dot dismiss. Then sbtn dot set on click listener, what it should do? It should close the application. So I'll give it as finish. Finally, we'll do alert dialog dot show. That's it. So this is how the customization works. So now you will see when you click on that button, which will tell click me to show alert dialog, that will display a black background, white text which will tell are you sure you want to exit, and two buttons which is user defined. So user defined design will be displayed to you. That is how the customization of the alert dialog can be done. See, now I'll click me for alert. You can see this. So this is the customized one. Similarly, again, when you click on no, dialog will be closed. When you click on yes, the activity will be closed. Now again, when you click on outside or when you click on back button, dialog will be closed. The same kind of set cancelable can be used here. There is no any problem here. You can use builder dot set cancelable false, and this will make sure that the user will be forcefully restricted to either click on the negative button or the positive button. So this is how an alert dialog customization can be achieved. So that is all about the alert dialog. So again, confirmation, like, is there any question from anyone before we proceed with the next unit? Okay, the next unit is about date and time widget. So this is the views, like in the palette we have another section called date and time widget. So that is what we are going to see in this particular unit. Suppose if you want in your application, you want to display some time view, or you want to display a calendar view, or you want to display a time picker, date picker, that particular period of time you can use this widget to get the input from the user. For example, in form filling, you will be like having a date of birth to be like entered. So instead of allowing user to enter it, you can display a calendar where you can input this date of birth to the calendar view. So that can be achieved by using these controls, what we are going to see now. So we are going to see about the text clock. This is the digital clock. That is what the text clock is about, how to display a digital clock. Then we have date picker and time picker. This is how where you can use it for getting the input from the user. Then we have a calendar view where you can get the calendar view. So the first one is text widget. That is what we are going to see in the first one. So if you see this, the text clock widget can display the current date, whatever is being set in your device. That current date or time will be shown to you in a digital format, that is in a 24 hours format. So that is what about the text clock. So you can see here, this is how the text clock will be displayed, and you can, the control that is used for text clock is, this is what the text clock is. So I'll just show to you the way how the text clock can be used. So the control is text clock. You can give it as match parent and wrap content. Okay. Now once you are done with this much, I think that is enough. You can see it is showing error. It is asking, it is available only from the API level 17, but our current API level is 14. So you have to go to your module app. Okay. You have to go to your module app. Here, instead of 14, make it as 17. So from 17 only it will support, otherwise it won't support. The text clock will not support. So we'll give it as 17. The Gradle will build. So you should wait until it shows any error, you have to rectify it. If it doesn't show any error, then it is okay. So it is still building it, let it build. Okay, it is successfully built now. So now if you see, the error will be disappear. That's it for the text clock. If you see the design, it will display you the time. You can see here 11:34. That is what the time is now. So if you run the application, you will see the time display. So you can see the time 11:34 has been displayed in the application. So you can change the text size like normally what we do for the text view. Similarly, you can change the text size and you can display it bolded, whatever you want, you can do it with the text clock. So this is how the text clock control is used to display the time and the current date and time. So this is what about the text clock control. Next one is the date picker and time picker. So the date picker and time picker widget provides controls for selecting each part of the time. That is, either you can select hours, minute, whether it is AM or PM. That is the time picker. Similarly, in the date picker, you can select either month, you can select day, year, you can do it. So using these pickers, it helps to ensure that your users can pick a time or date that is valid, formatted correctly, and adjusted to the user state locally. So there is no need that you have to create your own calendar where you can display. If you want, you can do that. If you want to use by default one, you can use it from you can use it by using the date picker and the time picker control to get the input from the user. So I'll just show to you that how to use the date picker and the time picker control and to get the input from the user. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to create two buttons. Okay, first button saying match parent wrap content, and I give the text saying date picker. Okay, this is for the date picker, and I'll give an ID date BTN. Similarly, I'll create another button for the time picker, and I'll give an ID same time BTN, and I'll give it text. Okay, I've given two. One is date picker and time picker. Now, if you see the design, there will be two buttons. One is date picker and time picker. The orientation I have not specified. So you can see there is two buttons. One is date picker and time picker. Now, what I am going to do is I am going to write the listener for these buttons, saying button date BTN, comma time BTN. I'll create the references for both. Then so I'll write the listeners for both. One is date BTN dot set on click listener or new on click listener. Then I'll give time BTN dot set on click listener or new on click listener. So for the first one, what I'll do is I'll create the date picker dialog. Okay, the dialog that will be displayed. So I'll create a user defined function called the date picker dialog. So the user defined function will be public void date picker dialog. So this is the function. So to do that, that is by default first thing, the date picker dialog, I'll show you that. Okay, date picker dialog is a class. Okay, I'll give it as date picker dialog. And when you create this particular object, that is when you create this particular date picker dialog object, you can see here what happens is it accepts different parameters like context. Then we have a listener. Okay, then we have a listener. Once we have a listener, then we have to pass another three parameters, that is integer. You can see that int. What is that is? First is you have to pass the current year, you have to pass the current month, and you have to pass the current day. So that is what it is about. So first, what you have to pass is you have to pass the context. So I'll tell main activity dot this. Second one is listener. So on date set listener is there. This is the listener that we have to pass. Third one is year. Fourth one is month, and fifth one is day. So to get this, you can get the current time or current day from a class called calendar. Okay, calendar.getInsert. So this particular class will give you the value. So I'll do see here is cal dot get, okay, calendar dot year. You see here year. So this is the year. Then int month. Okay. Similarly, cal dot get calendar dot, it's not millisecond, it is month. Okay, it's month. Next, int date equals cal dot get calendar dot day of month. There is something called as day of month. So this will return the day. So now you can pass the values like first is year, then you have month, then you have day. So once you are done this much, next date picker dialog dot show. So that's it. This will show a date picker dialog, and the listener you can see when user sets a date and he clicks on OK, this particular method will be invoked. So what I'm going to do is I'll create a toast which will display the user selected date. So toast dot make toast. I'll give main activity dot this. Then you can see I'll give you have selected. Okay, I'll give this much, and I'll tell what is the date that is being selected. First I'll display year. Okay, year. Then what I'm going to display is month. Okay, I'll display month. See what happens is, see this is the year, this is the month that user has selected and the day. Month will be always -1, it will be displayed in the dialog. So you should make sure that you will be like using +1. So I'll use month of year. Okay, month of year +1. So this will display me the month. Next is what I'm going to do is I'll display the day of the month. So I'll display day of the month. Once I'm done with this, I'll give the duration, and finally I'll give a show. So that's it. If you do this much, you will get what date the user has been selected. I'll show to you that. So the date picker, I'll click on it. You will see the date picker dialog has been displayed. See, when you click on this particular dates, see the dates will get changed. When I see here, it is getting changed. Suppose if you want to change the month, see you can scroll and the day and the month will be getting changed. Okay. Suppose you want to change the year, so you have to click on this particular year. See, when I click on particular year, it is giving me the year. So whichever year I select, that year will be selected. Similarly, when you click on this November, okay, the month and all is being done here, but year is changed here. So you can see November 16, 2007. Now when I click on OK, the toast message will, that listener will be invoked and the toast message will be displayed. You will see that you have selected 2007, 11, 16. So this is what we selected. So that is what it is displayed. So this is how you can use the date picker and get the input. That is, you can get the value that is being selected by the user. So this is what for the date picker. Next is we have the time picker. I'll create time picker dialog. Okay, we'll create another user defined function for the time picker dialog. Same way, what we are going to do is public void time time picker dialog, and we have so this one, inside this again we'll use a class called as time picker dialog, and this will take first main act, that is the context. Next is it will take the listener. Okay, this is the listener, and the third one what it will do is it will take hour, minute, and it will take hour, minute. So that is the two values that it will take. So what we are going to do is similarly calendar cal equals calendar dot get instance. First is hour. Okay, first is hour. So cal dot get calendar dot hour. So this is for hour, and minute cal dot get calendar.minute. Okay, calendar.minute. Okay, this much. So now, as per this, we have taken first one is hour, minute, and first one is hour, second one is minute, and third one is the constructor. That is, third one is we are asking false. That is whether the boolean is of 24 hours view or it is like 12 hours view. So we are not telling 24 hours view, we have taken 12 hours view. So because of that, we are specifying the false. Now we'll give show, and once we have given the show, it will display. So time picker will give a will display it in the toast, saying similarly you have selected. Okay, will display first hour of day. Okay, hour of day, saying hour of day. Then we have some called minute hour, minute. So we'll take minute, and finally we'll give toast dot length short. That's it. Now when we run, the time picker dialog will be displaying the time dialog, and whatever time user selected, that particular time will be displayed in a toast. So now we'll run the application. The time picker, I'll click on it. You can see the time will be displayed. See, first is hour. So when you drag to whatever time, it will be getting changed. Similarly, see, as soon as you selected the hour, it is showing the minute. So whatever minute you select, you can select it. Or even again, if you want to change the hour, you have to click on the hour section and the hours will be changed. Either you can select whether it is AM or PM by clicking on the AM and PM. And when you click on OK, you will see that 3:29 PM. See, you have selected 3:29. So that 24 hours boolean we have set it as false. So it is displaying 15:29. So this is how a time picker dialog can be implemented. So the last dialog what we are going to see is the calendar view widget. Suppose when you want to display a calendar for selecting dates from the user, instead of displaying a dialog, you want to display it as a calendar view. So then what you can do is, you can use this calendar view, but you can't change the year. Immediately you can't change the year. You have to keep on scrolling to get the previous year or the next year. That is one of the problem. So you can use this calendar view control to display a calendar. I'll just show to you that. So we'll go to the custom alert dialog. So here, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to create a calendar view which has match parent and match parent. Okay, that is better. Match parent, and I'll give an ID to it. Okay, I'm done with this. So the calendar view is available. When you go into the design part, very sorry, I've done it it's actually inside the content main. Okay. Now, if you see the design, the calendar will be displayed to you. You can see the November, then by default the current month will be displayed. So now I'll run my application. You'll see the calendar which will be shown to you. Okay, I'll run it. You can see this. So when you want to see the previous sections, you can just drag it down or if you want to see the next month, you can scroll up. So this is how the calendars will be displayed. You can write a listener to this calendar also to get the value from the user. That is, if you want to get a value from the user, you can write a listener to this, like what we have written for the button. Similar way you can do it. So I just showed you that. I'll create calendar view, okay. I'll create the object of it. r.id.calendar view. So now you can write calendar view dot set on date change listener is the listener that we have to use. So this will give you a overridden method called on selected day change. So whatever day it is changed, selected, that will come in this year, month, and day of month. So you can use the same function. Okay, you can use the same function like whatever we have used it here. Okay, I'll use the same instead of month. Okay, I'll put it here. This is month. Okay, now I'll run this. You will be able to see the calendar view. In the calendar view, whatever date is selected, that will be displayed to me as a post. Let it run. So what I'll do is I'll select December 1st. Okay, you will see selected 2016 11/1. So I told you the month in the calendar view is giving -1. So you should make sure that you will be like adding +1. You saw now December I selected, it is showed 11. So it should be month +1 so that it will display the correct one. So again I'll run it. I'll click on some 15th of December. So you can see 2016, 12, 15, or I'll go to some previous years, like I have come to 2000, I have come to May 2014, okay, May 2014, I'll select some 17. So you'll see 2014, 5/17. So this is how the calendar view control is used to get the input from the user. So that is what about the calendar view. So we have covered up with everything with whatever we have to do. So we saw about the text log, time picker, date picker, and calendar view. Before we wind up the session, if you have any doubts, you can ask me now. Okay, so there is a question like how to generate notes on calendar. The calendar, when you want to add some notes, there are some intents where you can pass it to the calendar view by specifying on which date, what is the event, then the title and other things, so that that will be set as a note or as an event in the calendar view. That actually you have to experiment on it. In the net, if you search, there are some ways where you can add the events to it. So those procedures you have to follow. So there are some intents where you can do it and you can set the events. So is there any other question from anyone, or would you like to wind up the session? Okay, everyone. Thank you very much. Have a nice weekend.